What up, y'all? It is Friday at the Cover 4 podcast with Jesse Hawley, Dave Hellman. I'm Taylor Stern. Lindsay Draper can't be with us today, but we'll miss her. We'll miss her. Dave's going to sit in her seat to pretend to be like her.
Hey, guys.
Are you going to check Periscope for us, too, for questions?
I'll read Periscope for some nugs.
For some little nugs?
For some nugs.
Jesse's got the moves this morning.
What is that, Fortnite dance? How the kids be doing? What is that? I don't know how to do that.
I like to
dance.
I like to think of myself as a young man, but I've never played Fortnite.
I haven't either.
I don't know anything about it.
I don't even own a gaming system.
I don't either. I don't know. I think
Taylor's like, why are we talking about this?
No, I mean, people. When I was on the podcast in here, people would literally call in and they'd be like, "Hey, I played Cowboys Jags this week on Madden, and I saw like guys, if you throw it up to Rico, that will actually be the key to this game."
100% true.
I don't know anything, but I am a coach. Basically, I coach my son's, Yaffle team.
Like, throw the seam route against cover 2. It works every time.
Yeah.
It is true. It's true.
It's like people literally. So I would always be like, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to, because I feel like I would be that person to be like, guys, I know the truth here. This is how you do it.
Judging by how absurdly into your fantasy football team you are, that's probably true.
I know myself, so I'm just preventing that. But somebody that we need to talk about, because I don't know what to think or say or do anything, is the man Odell Beckham Jr. Last night, Thursday Night Football, they got
OBJ.
I don't want to say embarrassed because that sounds harsh, but they just got dominated by the Eagles.
No, they got embarrassed.
Embarrassed.
Embarrassed is a good word.
Embarrassed?
Yeah, that's a good word. That's a good word. I would go with embarrassed.
You think?
Yeah. No, that listen, when you that offense is bad.
Yeah.
Outside of Saquon Barkley, who was magnificent, but Eli is terrible.
He's trash, man.
He is absolutely terrible.
Like, why?
Father Time.
He's 37 years old. He's gotten decked 10 million times in the last 4 years.
Never missed a game.
Until they sat him, yeah. No, yeah, I mean, he's an Iron Man for sure, and I would probably put Eli in the Hall of Fame when it's all said and done. I know that's a controversial opinion in Cowboy land, but he doesn't have it anymore, man. He does not. He doesn't make good decisions, doesn't get the ball there.
Who's behind him?
Tanny.
Is that Alex Tanney's there? I know. Yeah, they got rid of Davis Webb, and they had another guy. Who'd they get rid of?
What was the other guy? Was it Geno Smith?
Tweet us on the Periscope.
Geno Smith was with
the Jets.
No, but then he was with the Giants. Yeah,
Oh, he was.
They benched him last year for Geno.
Yeah,
What a weird.
I don't know. Which
I know Tanny's on the team.
I was joking about this last night, but everybody, including me, killed the Giants for being too. And not taking a quarterback, like, oh, this running back's not going to save you. Well, maybe they knew that because they're headed for another top 5 pick, and they can get a quarterback this year.
They're like, you want to see a stacked team? We'll go ahead and stack this team up.
They are going to have a shot to draft a quarterback. Like, there's no doubt in my mind they're going to be picking near the top of the draft.
Before they do that, though, is the locker room going to be destroyed? Because
it's already been destroyed.
Well, just from the outside looking in, and I know what people think about the Cowboys locker room, and you know that being in it, and Dave, you've seen it all. But you've seen it all, big fella. But I mean, just watching that, you're like, what is wrong with this person? He's hitting his head against the fan. He's just blowing up, leaving into the locker room early, late. Then Eli Apple, he's always kind of been explosive as well, getting in fights with Landon Collins. Just why can't these SEC guys get along?
Wow. I saw a tweet from a Giants beat writer that I really liked last night, and I'm going to defend Odell Beckham every time because of where he went to school. But
until he punches you in the face.
No, I'd be like, yes, please, Odell, punch me again, whatever you need.
Does this help you play better?
But his name's Art Stapleton. He's a Giants beat writer. He was like, let's make a list of why the Giants stunk tonight and how far down the list do you have to go before you get to Odell Beckham.
But why does he take it so personally then? Because he's just a competitor?
I mean, we've been around the Cowboys for the last decade, right? Was I the only person that was reminded of Des Bryant in that situation?
Fill me in, Jess.
No, he's a competitor. And the thing that when you put in all this work, like there's a lot, football is a 365 thing. Like we just watch it from August until January, February-ish. But it doesn't stop there. You know, you put in all this time, all this money, into getting your body right. Odell missed a lot of time last year with the ankle injury. And when you go out there, you just want to go out there and perform. You want to play. You want to be the very best that you can. And that position, the receiver position, is one of the positions where you have to have a bunch of people do their stuff right in order for you to have success.
Yeah.
Linemen have to block. Running back have to pick up the blitz. Oh, the quarterback has to make the right read and then make the right throw for you to have success. And so when you're a guy, and there's a lot of ego in wide receivers, like 100%.
What? Huh?
I know. Newsflash.
Why though?
Whoa.
Like everyone always says that, but like why?
Because, well, you've played the position, but if you're an NFL wide receiver, you've probably been a badass receiver since you were 15 years old. You've been the man.
Because you scored the touchdowns?
You've been the guy that's carried your offense or been a big part of it for 10 years. And also, to play wide receiver, you kind of got to like the spotlight. You got to like attention.
You do. And then after that, and then when things aren't going well for you, the guys on across the ball, they're talking trash to you. Like all game long. Yeah. Man, shut up. You suck. You can't get open. I'm locking you down. You're like, you're not locking me down. You're like, he's not locking me down.
If I wanted to get in Odell's head,
he's not.
I would be like, what was his contract where? I'd be like, $96 million, huh?
Yeah.
Isn't that what Josh Norman did to
Yeah,
Des?
absolutely. He was like, you need to give that money back, bro. Like that would infuriate me.
Like that's one of the worst things you can say to a receiver. Like they're overrated, or they overvalued you and paid you too much money. You're not worth that contract.
Yeah.
Which, and you see, I mean,
those, as they say, them's fighting words right there.
It's a way smaller scale than Odell Beckham, but like you're seeing that with Allen Hurns and Cole Beasley right now. They're like, hey, go turn on the tape. I'm doing my job.
Yeah. I felt like before the Hot Boys, Tyrone Crawford was very similar to that too.
Yeah.
I mean, people were always calling out his money.
There's only like one job in football that you can. I mean, that's not even true.
Snapper? Long
no, there.
Shout out to LP.
Is there
how much money do you make, LP?
Is there a position in football that you can adequately grade on TV copy? I was gonna say quarterback, but even then, like you don't really know what he's looking at.
Maybe cornerback?
You think?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Why
maybe.
do you say that?
Because it's either you covered him or you didn't.
Well, yeah, if he's wide open,
if he's wide open,
you know
then you blew your assignment. If you're not tackling, it's like it's evident. Like if a guy's coming at you and I whiff on a tackle, a la Lattimore last year, right? Like you had a tackle, make the tackle, you whiffed.
Although I will say it's the same thing as wide receiver though. Like, and that's Des Bryant got so mad at Josh Norman because he's like, go back and watch the tape. Like Norman's not doing his job. They're just not throwing me the ball. So I don't know.
But see, that's hard to watch on TV because
you don't know the targets.
That's what I'm saying though. Is it's hard to know what's going on a football field watching a game on TV.
So obviously this week the Cowboys had their own little mix-up. Alan Hurns with his comments being misconstrued. And it's funny because we had talked to Alan in the offseason when he first came here.
Wait, I don't mean to cut you off. Were they misconstrued?
Well, let me tell you this.
Okay.
So we had talked to him when he first came here, and obviously he was on a Jags team that was pretty bad for 3 years. He was finally on that good one last year. Comes here in the offseason, and Lindsay and I are talking to him, and we're like, you made the playoffs last year, but still, this media is nothing like you've ever seen, right?
True.
And he's like, I've never seen this. He's like, people were friending my mom and talking to my family, and all these fan accounts started following me up myself. He's like, I've never seen that. And I think that you see this again and again, and Dave said it this week. I'm nervous now he's going to be burned, because he was openly speaking, he was being candid, he was thinking he was in a trusting, situation. And now you see, like, people just want to hear the Cowboys name. That could have been Tavon Austin. That could have been Deontay Thompson. And it was the Cowboys wide receivers and the issues that are there, and it was attractive.
Yeah, but I thought Allen handled it.
The way he responded after
he was
the
great.
fact.
But I don't think he was misconstrued either, which, like, it was. I really admired the way he came back Wednesday. Was it Wednesday? He was like, yeah, it's pretty much what I said. I wasn't questioning the play call. I'm just saying that's not the right play to run against cover 2, which, I mean, that's sort of questioning the play call, but whatever. I thought he handled it really well. I think as far as like media firestorms go, that was a pretty minor one, but.
And this is one of the things that you have when you bring other guys from other teams.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
No, I get what you're saying 100%. And Alan Hurns hasn't kind of been through the Jason Garrett filter enough just yet to know what to say, when to say, how to say it. Because you hear guys like Dak and you hear guys like Ezekiel Elliott. There's certain guys, Sean Lee, who when a controversial topic comes up, they know how to say certain things because they won't get that. A guy like Alan Hearns, who's fresh to this city, fresh to this media, fresh to this team, kind of didn't quite understand when you say something, especially when things aren't going well, it's going to be magnified times 10. And I agree with Dave. It wasn't something that he said that was controversial. He spoke the truth, but that's not always accepted.
That's true.
That's not always welcomed.
That's true.
In these parts, when you say certain things like that,
I hope he keeps doing him and doesn't. I hope Garrett gives him the how to be boring playbook and he throws it away.
He won't be here long.
Well, that's fine. He's only on a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
Yesterday, when we were starting the show, we opened up with a shot of Zeke talking about, like, there's no comfort in this locker room when you're 2-3 in the National Football League. And, Jesse, you were like, who is that? Who is that?
Right.
Who's that Zeke? Like, he's maturing before our eyes. Why do you keep feeling that way so differently than you've seen him before?
Well, looking at Zeke, he was one that he never really spoke a lot. And then we always talked about him getting in trouble or getting over a suspension. But now you start seeing little things that he's doing, the pregame warm-ups. You're hearing more in practice, taking a leadership role, coming out and speaking and saying, kind of almost trying to nip it in the bud, saying, no, there's no comfort around here, but we aren't pointing fingers either. And so, like, those are things that are people saying that are, that's leadership type talk right there, trying to, corral the group and bring everybody together to galvanize the group and say, no, we're not comfortable. There's no comfort in the locker room, but we're not fractured either.
Yeah.
But I believe that locker room is becoming very fractured.
You think so?
Yeah. When guys start talking about, like, singling out their groups, when they're saying, well, look at the tape, look what we're doing. And guys are saying, no, look what we're doing. Because nobody wants to be the blame anymore. So now guys are starting to say, well, watch the film and look what we're doing. So,
is that just losing, though, instead of being fractured?
But losing does that. Because now when you lose, someone has to take the blame, right? There has to be a scapegoat for somewhere.
Always.
Like, why did we not win? Yeah.
When you're winning, oh, man, it's team effort. Boy, that O-line block. Man, those receivers sure. Man, that quarterback sure threw it. Man, that defense sure. But when you're losing, it becomes, why are you losing? And now everything has always been this year has been offense. It's why. And then you hear guys from the offensive line say, hey, we're holding up our end of the deal. We're missing some spots, but we're playing well. And then you hear, the quarterback saying, I'm saying this, and the receivers are saying, hey, you got to watch film. We're open. And that's just one of those things where you start looking around and everybody's defending their group. Everybody's saying, no, our group is fine. No, look at the tape. Watch film. Our group is doing just fine because nobody wants the finger to be pointed at them. So now you take your group and you defend your group.
This could be, I'm not saying it is, but it could be uncharted territory for the Cowboys because they don't do this. Like 2015 was really the only year where they were just losing, and they didn't.
That seemed like other things too.
Well, they didn't have Tony Romo.
Yeah.
Like you can just point the finger at that.
Right,
like we don't have the guy that makes everything go. But this is the team that they designed on purpose. Like they don't have Travis Frederick. That sucks. But Joe Looney is playing fine. Like their season is not sunk because Travis Frederick can't play.
And Sean Lee.
And Sean Lee either.
Yeah.
And so this, for the most part, is the team that they put together on purpose, and they're still not winning. And we haven't seen. I looked this up a couple weeks ago. Jason Garrett has not let his team fall more than one game below 500 very often in his tenure. I think it's only happened twice since he's been the head coach. So, which again, they could go out and beat the Jags and start this whole cycle over again, but it could be uncharted territory if they're trying to find answers for a truly losing team. If they're 2-4, 2-5, like we haven't seen that around here.
Yeah, that's what's so annoying to me right now is that we sat here 2 weeks ago, Lions game, and everyone's like, here they are, they found it, Zeke's back, baby, and it's like, okay, that was just because Brett Maher has a pretty good leg. And the fact of the matter is that you're right, Dave. It's like they just trade off. So like 1 week you're like, sky's falling. The next week you're like NFC East champions. And it's like, what is this? And I feel like it's frustrating probably to the media, but way more to them because they're just like
and the fans
up and down.
And the fans, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 1 week you're like, okay, Zeke's the best. Because we've talked about it, Jesse. this is so many good pieces on this team. I mean, just brought Brett Maher. He's like surprisingly has the third best, I think, field goal percentage in the entire NFL.
Wow.
Zeke Elliott.
Leading rusher in the NFL.
Byron Jones, all these different
number one corner in the league.
Jalen and Van Der Esch, DeMarcus Lawrence. When he plays well, which has only been once, Dak is pretty good. Just haven't seen it enough this year.
Yeah, so it's just weird.
You weren't here, but Jesse remembers. Like you were on an 8-8 team.
Couple of them.
Yeah, I mean,
is it the most frustrating thing you've ever experienced?
Yeah, because when you go back and look at it, especially 8-8 teams, it comes down to literally like 3 or 4 plays, and you go, man, if we would have made that play, we would be
in the playoffs,
10-6, or if we had made those plays, we would have been 11-5. That's the most frustrating thing about when you go this teeter-totter type thing is when you go back and look at games, you go, bro, if we would have done this or if we would have done that. We literally, and it'll come down to the end of the year, and they'll miss the playoffs, and then you'll go back and we'll all do it. We'll go back and we'll break down games, and we'll go, man, you guys, if you had made 2 plays right here, this would have been the reason why we're in the playoffs. And then when you get in the playoffs, anything could happen.
The difference between not being in the playoffs and being there last year was that they gave up an 11-point lead to the Rams in Week 4.
Yeah,
like if they hold on, they had a double-digit lead. I know the Rams are good, but double-digit lead at home. If you hold on to it, you're
they try to blame my boy for that game.
Who, Ryan? Yeah. Well, he muffed the punt. I mean, that's not why they lost. It happened in the second quarter.
Right.
They lost because they just decided not to cover Gurley going down the seam.
Yeah.
But, but I mean, that makes the difference when you're talking about 9-7, 8-8.
So how do they take advantage of this confused Jags team? And I say confused because I was reading some of the articles on their site. And it's so funny because we're talking like, okay, this is what we need to do for the Cowboys. And they were talking like, this is what we need to do for the Jags. And they're like, reestablish Blake Bortles. And that's so funny to me because that's what he needs to do. But how do you stop that? And then how does Zeke eat against this defense?
I feel way better answering the first question than the second one. I mean, I'm not trying to be a smart aleck. Like, it's going to be a long day for Zeke. And that doesn't mean he won't be successful. Like, he could have a nice day, but he's going to have to earn every yard of it. Like, this defense is nasty.
And for the first question, the difference between the Jaguars' problems and the Cowboys' problems, they can almost pinpoint their problem, especially offensively. It's Blake.
Yep.
Right? So, like, we question, is it the quarterback? Is it the line? Is it the receivers? Is it the tight ends? So there's so many questions that we're trying to answer offensively for the Cowboys. The Jags are like, oh, we know what it is. We have to find a way to get Blake Bortles to play better. And whether that be call a different game, call different plays, they can pinpoint exactly what their issue is.
The Jags just need to get out of their own way. Like, the Cowboys are still searching for answers. The Jags are 9th in total offense. Blake is throwing for 300 yards a game. They've just given the ball away 12 times in 5 weeks. Like, that's awful. It's by far the worst in the NFL. Their defense.
Blake's giveth and he takes his.
Exactly. So I mean, if you want to beat the Jags, the defense has to pressure Blake Bortles into a bad game. Like, sack him, force fumble, pick him off. Which they got a pick last week, so maybe they can build off that. But you got to force him to play a bad game because their offense moves. They just can't ever convert it into points because they're sloppy.
You have to do to them what teams have been doing to you.
Yeah.
Shut off everything else and make Blake Bortles beat you.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you have to do. Like, literally take the blueprint that everyone has been doing to you and saying, take the run away and make Dak beat you with his arm. Do the same thing for the Jaguars. Make Blake Bortles have to beat you with his arm.
And I kind of think they can.
Yeah, they're good at that, I feel like.
I think they can force Blake into that. Like, I don't know. I have a hard time believing TJ Yeldon is just going to run wild. I might feel differently if my boy Lenny was playing in this game, but he's not, thankfully.
Miss you.
Lenny.
I do miss him.
Lenny.
He's so awesome. He's so awesome.
My large adult son, Lenny.
I know. Yesterday we were doing something in the locker room, and Cheeto and Jordan Lewis, who I just hope never change. They're just like the best guys. Like, we were talking about that Oregon runner in the video, and we were kind of just talking about like, and Cheeto said something like almost immediately because I was like, did you guys see this video? I was just so taken back by it. And it's the Oregon runner who gets the Nike contract.
Yeah, he had cerebral palsy.
Cerebral palsy, yeah. And it's just really moving just to see the imagery of his reaction. And Cheeto goes, yeah. And this is Cheeto, who's dealing with the ankle injury. He goes, I get some injuries and stuff, and this guy's doing that. And he immediately said that. And I just thought, wow, that you don't ever hear that from those guys because they want to be the tough guys who like, I'll play through it. I'll play the second half. But Cheeto felt so convicted. I could really feel that he was being honest. He was like, yeah, I saw that guy. Like, I get these little injuries, and that's what he's going through and overcoming it all.
Perspective, man.
Always.
Certain things like that will put life and situations in a totally different perspective. And sometimes we need that. Like, we need that self-check every now and again because we get so caught up in ourselves.
In this bubble.
And our stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then we're like, well, man, this is happening and so-and-so saying this about me and this is not working well, this is not. And then you watch that story and you go, what the hell am I complaining about?
Yep.
What are we doing?
Throw me the ball more.
Yeah.
And even just, I mean, typical BS, like especially like working here, just, I don't know, just being upset by the dumb rigmarole of life. Like the restaurant I tried to eat dinner at on Tuesday was closed. I was like, what the hell?
Life sucks.
Life is so hard.
It reminded me back in 2015.
Just want some spinach dip.
Yeah.
When Dez did have that crazy locker room explosion and, it was like everywhere on television. And I remember I'd never seen something like that. Like someone be so explosive and people just silent. And I remember I called my mom after work and I was like, Mom, you'll never guess what happened today. Like Dez Bryant was so upset. He was like fighting with a reporter and she was like, why is he mad? He's got lots of money. Like, she's like, what about? And I was like, the passion of the game, Mom.
You don't understand.
You don't get this life. Ball is life.
That's, I mean, you hear people, it's especially like when you're losing, people are like, oh man, I miss high school football when it was just about the game, which but there's a lot of money at stake here. So people get mad when it doesn't go the right way.
The funny part about, I guess it's anywhere, but specifically here in Dallas, locally fans think, especially when you're losing, they think nothing else in life is supposed to go on for you.
Yep.
Like literally losing means I can't go to Walmart. Mm-hmm. Like I've had people when I was playing, I would be like in the Walmart and I'm like, what are you doing in here, man? I'm like, getting milk.
I needed bread.
Ran out of toilet wipes.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you should be watching film. I'm like, did that for about 3 hours a day. How much more film do you want me to watch? Like I can only watch a certain amount of film, but hey, they don't want you to go to a movie. You can't go to the grocery store, can't get an oil change. Like nothing functions if you're losing in the DFW area if you're a Cowboy.
Yeah, like Jordan Lewis earlier this week when he said like he's going to pull up to people's offices.
Pull up at your desk job and talk mess.
Imagine, Dave, if Jordan just decided that he's going to pick on Dave Hellman today. And he comes up to your desk and he's like, what articles have you written today? Where's your column?
I mean, I know, like...
You forgot the comma!
Those guys know where I work. Maybe that, I hope it doesn't, but it would be funny if they did pull up.
How can we...
But, could you handle it, 5 days in a row?
I wouldn't want to. I don't know. I don't really want to find out. That should be a piece of social content. Like, we should do, hating with J-Lou and just, bring him places Yeah, I think he even said...
I was ready to say that.
Jobs.
No, but he said, he was like, I'm going to pull up at McDonald's and tell you to kill yourself because you didn't give me my chicken nuggets or something like that.
I don't go that far.
I don't know, but you get the gist.
But no, I'm saying, we should find a way how to make that some sort of something that we do, like the cover for something, where we find people who tweet the Cowboys athletes.
Find them.
Like find them on social media. Like, hey, this is David Hellman. This is Jesse Holiday. This is Taylor Stern. We work for Cover 4. Hey, what do you work at? We want to come and bring so-and-so there to kind of have them do to you what you've done to them.
Your TPS report is trash, Greg.
Right.
It's trash.
So that would be fun.
Sign up for that, though?
Oh, a ton of people.
But it would be in jest where they really take it seriously.
A ton of people would sign up for that.
Okay, Jesse, if you can make it happen, I'm all for it.
If you get the player, I'll do the rest. Get a player to agree to it, and I'll do the rest.
And then you're gonna find all the tweets.
If you get a player to agree to it, I'll do the rest.
Who should we ask?
Jordan. I mean, 100% it should be Jordan. He came up with the idea.
Okay, I'll ask Jordan.
All right.
That would be so funny.
All right.
Yeah, no, okay, no. I knew I didn't make this up, which, I mean, okay, it's morbid, but it's funny. 'Cause some guys, like, it comes with the territory of being in the entertainment business. In your line of work, you get paid to perform. If you perform well, you get praised and glories. If you underperform, you get critiqued and criticized. And Jordan goes, bet, next time my fries are soggy at Mickey D's, I'm going to tell them to kill themselves. Which, like, but I get his point because that's the type of horrible stuff people say to athletes all the time.
Yes,
like,
they do.
One thing, I mean, if you want to take a jab at a guy on Twitter, that's kind of what it's there for. But, like, tone it down. It doesn't have to be that serious. Well, but it is all the time.
I like all the time, like, people talk about, like, the 90s Cowboys at their social media, and they're more talking about, like, what they would be sharing on social media. But there's also that opposite effect. Like, these players now have to adapt to a different type of fan voice that they've never had before. I mean, anybody can reach you now. Like, literally anybody in this world can comment on your photo and say something that's either negative or positive, especially when you're in this fragile state as an athlete whose, whole day is consumed by wanting to be the best.
Right.
And so, back in the 90s, could you imagine if Michael Irvin's getting on Twitter, because he probably knew there were some deals to be made there, money to be made.
I can't
and
even
you
imagine.
Get on and people are just going in. I bet his tweets would be lit. He would be Dez.
He would surpass Dez.
Well,
it would be
with like social meanness.
Yeah. No, the things that he would say back, Michael back then would have had zero filter.
Yeah.
Zero filter.
He barely has one now.
I know.
Man, when we played those cold weather games, we was cold.
But Nate Newton would have been funny. Deion would have been funny in his prime. Charles Haley.
Oh, God. Yeah.
No.
It's for the best. It's for the best that those guys didn't have cell phones.
I know, but then you have to give these guys credit for the fact that they're adapting to that.
Who? Our players right now? Yeah, absolutely. No, I people say terrible stuff to me like a 0.5% as often as they do those guys. And, like, that's not fun. So I can't even imagine getting it all day, every day.
I know.
It's awful.
Like, I'll get 4 tweets that are like, you did amazing today. Loved the show. You're so great. And I'll get one that's like, bad look today. And I'll
didn't like the hair. Yeah, and she sends it to me and Lindsay like, what the hell?
You do that too, though. And so does Linz.
Hell yeah. It sucks. I don't like it when people are mean.
It's crazy that, like, and we all come from different places and different backgrounds. Like, none of that stuff bothers me. Like, it doesn't. I don't know. Like, if you, like, at the fan, like, we have, like, the text thing up. And if you would see the things that people text in and say about you, like, literally, it is
nice.
Oh, they say some nasty stuff. And I'm laughing because they'll say, you suck. I hate listening to you, but they'll say it for an hour, and I go, "You're still listening." Like you said I sucked for an hour, but you never turned the station.
They're Tolos, Jesse. They turn it on and leave it on. That's what they do.
No matter what, right?
Yeah, no matter what.
Tolos. My sister's new song came out today, so I'll send it to you, Jesse.
Is it on iTunes?
Jesse didn't know that my sister was really related to me. He truly did not believe that.
Nice little free pub for old Alex Stern.
I didn't. I mean, because there's a girl on Twitter right now. Her name is Jessie Holly. I thought she was fake, but her real name, like she showed me her ID. Her real name is JESSIE HOLLEY. No, but
the paperwork wouldn't be hard
at all.
Yeah.
So I didn't. People. And Stern's not like a difficult last name. Like if your name was like Schniedermeyer, like I don't know if that's, but. I had to make sure.
Stern's a pretty common name, I guess.
And I looked at her pictures. There were zero like family pictures on her, like nothing.
Not on Twitter, bro.
All I have is Twitter.
Yeah, well.
I'll
show you my phone.
I was gonna say, like, just all you need is to bring it up once, and Taylor will show you like every childhood picture she has.
Well, good. I can do that in literally 10 seconds because we're out of time. We missed you, Linz. We'll have her back next Friday.
Did we?
Yeah, we missed her.
We did. We did.
Thank you, Jesse. Dave. We'll be back Monday through Thursday for regular Cover 4, 5:30 p.m. Thanks, Ken Garrison, for the production.